King Puranjana continued thinking how, when he was in a state of bewilderment, his wife would give him good counsel and how she would become aggrieved when he was away from home. Although she was the mother of so many sons and heroes, the king still feared that she would not be able to maintain the responsibility of household affairs. Purport. At the time of death, King Puranjana was thinking of his wife. And this is called polluted consciousness. As Lord Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, Mamevamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manasasthani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. So the important part is manasasthani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. They're struggling very hard with the six senses which include the mind. The living entity is after all part and parcel of the Supreme Spirit Krishna. In other words, Krishna's constitutional position and living entity's constitutional position are the same qualitatively. The only difference is that the living entity is eternally an atomic particle of the Spirit. In this material world of conditional life, fragmental portion of the Supreme Lord, the individual soul is struggling due to his contaminated mind and consciousness. Okay. So, so what is this bewilderment? Why are we bewildered? What is the meaning of bewildered?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, is it something like a fear of something?
Fear
And
of
getting
something
confused?
and getting confused, okay?
Confused state.
It is a state
Due
where
to
we have
attachment.
lost our intelligence, Prabhu, our
Lost our
intelligence.
intelligence. Okay, so let's see what.
Due to attachments also, Prabhuji.
Yeah, meaning of bewildered. Perplexed and confused. Very puzzled. This word puzzled. So, how many of you have seen Harry Potter? Wrong. What should I say? Wrong gathering to ask this question. But in one of Harry Potter movies, I remember long ago, there was one competition, and the competition was that they'll all go into a maze, and they have to come out from the other side. And what happens in a maze? What happens in a maze? We don't know where we are going, and we don't know what is going to take us out or which path is going to take us out. We don't know. Right? And we are going left, right, then we are taking again, we can come back to the same path, then we go elsewhere, then, we just lost like this. So, bewilderment means we are puzzled with things, like being stuck in a maze. But now the question is saying that, okay, material people, meaning people who are not Krishna conscious, are puzzled, are bewildered. What about devotees? What should devotees be doing? What should they? Why should devotees get puzzled or bewildered? Any answers?
If faith is less, they will get bewildered.
Faith is less. Faith in what, Mataji?
The Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Faith is less in the Supreme Personality. Okay.
Yeah.
Not only surrender to the Lord, Prabhu.
Not surrender to the Lord. Okay.
Prabhuji, if their consciousness is not proper, Prabhuji, it's not in Krishna, then obviously they will also be bewildered, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
No, but I want you to explain in very simple terms, right? I mean, simple terms as in a way that see, when we talk about some abstract concept, like we will not surrender to Krishna. Now, what does it mean? So we should explain or try to understand in such a way that it becomes practical for us. right?
Hare
So
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
When we are confused whether we are following as per Krishna's instruction
okay,
or whether we are not following it, there will be a confusion.
okay. One confusion is because of unclear knowledge, right? Yeah, we are not sure about the knowledge we've got, or we think maybe there is something lacking. Okay, what else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, there is still, as devotees also, there is a still execution of our free will only, Prabhuji, all the time. What we are doing is on our self gratification, not completely for the satisfaction of Krishna.
Okay, okay. So we seem to be doing things independently. Okay, then
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
So we are not going according to the plans of the Lord. So whenever there is a calamity, we of course we pray to the Lord, but still we go according to our plans. We don't think, yes, this is designed to me according to the Lord. So
okay.
that's the thing.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, we don't
Yeah.
follow spiritual master's instructions. We don't follow the
Yeah.
Shastras. We don't
Yeah.
read.
We
all
don't
this.
have 100% belief or trust. 100% we don't have.
Okay.
We are
So
always attached to this sense gratification, Prabhu. So we are not like, yeah.
Okay. So
We are not
maybe
conscious of our mind, actions, and this thing, Prabhuji, what we are doing. All the
not
time, we are
not
I
conscious.
mean, we are doing, Prabhuji.
Hmm.
We'll be thinking of something else. Our introspection is not there, and conviction towards the instructions of the gurus are not there.
Getting
So why?
distracted.
But why
of
all this?
Maya.
Okay, all of this Maya. Okay, Ooh, okay. So why all this? So you're all giving so many reasons, right? But what is the root cause? What is
The
the
three
underlying cause?
modes of material nature, Prabhu.
3 modes of material nature. Oh, what are they doing?
They are compelling us to do the actions that we do.
Oh.
Our mental, our intelligence is.
Is it? Are they compelling us?
So
How
because
many of us
avidya,
think that we are?
Prabhuji.
How many of us are thinking that we are being compelled by Maya? Okay, so see, we need to understand these things.
Vyavasaya
Okay.
buddhi is not there, Prabhuji.
You're all so well read that you're speaking from all different parts of Prabhupada's purports. Very nice. See, we should understand the root cause is what is called as false ego. Okay, so this is the root cause. Prabhupada somewhere writes, saying false ego is the connection between matter and spirit. It's the connecting point. So, we all still have retained our false ego. What is this false ego? False ego is the thought concept or thinking that we are a product of material nature. This is false ego. So somehow we still don't think of ourselves as Atma. This is our problem, isn't it? Everything that you said boils down to just us thinking on the bodily platform. And thinking on the bodily platform means not thinking that I am the Atma. So when Srila Prabhupada, he used, in initial years, he used to only hammer on 2 concepts. Only 2 things he used to say repeatedly. One was that I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul. And the other was that there is a supreme controller. So and devotees used to ask, saying that, but you seem to be repeating the same thing. One thing Prabhupada said, one saying that because it doesn't go into your heads. Second thing about this supreme controller, that there is a supreme controller. Very interesting, right? I mean, for Indians, at least of Indian origin, we feel that, yeah, we understand that there is a supreme controller, but we don't fully accept it. We don't fully accept it. And today morning, I was discussing in my other Bhagavatam class. To me, the root cause of this problem, and which I would be very happy if at least sections or groups of devotees, get over this kind of one challenge that exists, is to take Srila Prabhupada's books seriously. What does it mean to take Srila Prabhupada's book seriously?
To follow his instructions.
Which means not to ignore any single word or statement in his books. Okay, I want to give you a slightly different perspective. Who is our preeminent Shiksha Guru in ISKCON for everybody?
Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada. What is the first or second offense to the chanting of the holy name?
To blaspheme the devotee.
devotee who have dedicated
Or
their life
dedicated
and soul for the holy propagation of the holy name of the Lord.
Next one.
To consider the names of
Demigods
Shiva,
like Lord
Consider
Shiva, Lord Brahma,
demigods
Okay.
like Lord Shiva.
Okay. Okay. The next one.
To disobey the orders of the spiritual master.
Okay. Disobey the orders of you all know perfectly, word by word, you all know. Very nice. Okay, disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Now you please tell me, you're reading Prabhupada's books and you read something like Prabhupada is telling something, some instruction he's giving. Isn't Prabhupada giving us instructions in his books?
Yes,
He's giving,
Prabhu.
right?
Yes,
He's giving,
Prabhu.
yeah,
Yes,
he's
Prabhu.
giving, right? So when we read some instruction that Srila Prabhupada has given and not follow it, what does it become? What is it called?
Guru Avagya.
Guru Avagya. And when we do Guru Avagya, what happens to our spiritual progress?
It will be hindered, Prabhuji.
It will be hindered. So, see, please understand, we talk about big things, right? Different devotees come and talk big topics. But we don't have to go so big topic. What is the reason why we are still bewildered? Why we are still affected by Maya? Why we are still under the control of material modes? All the things that you answered, that you said. My analysis is that we are not taking Srila Prabhupada's books seriously. If we take Prabhupada's book seriously, see, please understand one thing, one very, very important secret of spiritual life. Material life, you're given, if you want to try and achieve something, which is, say, beyond your ability, it's up to you in some sense, in the sense that, okay, maybe we're not talking about karma, we're just talking about like just general conversation. Like you just talk to somebody and not a devotee, right? And you say, okay, I'm trying to achieve this. And I'm trying to do this, I'm making this plan, I'm doing this, blah, blah, blah. So which means that it's left to the devotee's intelligence, effort, etc., to try and achieve whatever is going behind. But how is it different in the spiritual platform? Spiritual platform is different because when you get a spiritual instruction, what comes along with that instruction is the mercy to be able to follow it. When you take the instruction seriously, you get the mercy to be able to execute that order, that instruction. So which means nobody can tell, saying that, oh, Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada's sentences, they're all so difficult. I can't follow this instruction. So we are reading one purport today morning from the 6th. And then Prabhupada this is about Chitraketu, and this Chitraketu and meets Lord Sankarsana, and this very nice, beautiful prayers and discussion there. So Prabhupada in one purport is talking about Aryan civilization. And he says, what is Aryan civilization? Aryan civilization means one who actually follow Bhagavata Dharma. And in the purport, Prabhupada says that one has to what is he saying? Seriously follow the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Where is that? Let me read that. Very nice statement. Yeah. Here. The members of human society who strictly follow the principles of Bhagavata Dharma and live according to the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are called Aryans. A civilization of Aryans who strictly follow the instructions of the Lord and never deviate from those instructions is perfect. A civilization of Aryans who strictly follow the instructions of the Lord and never deviate from those instructions is perfect. Such civilized men do not discriminate between trees, animals, human beings, and other livings. Pandita Samadarshi. So, what is the significance of this to our topic? So, what Prabhupada is saying, and here, of course, therefore, Bhagavata Dharma means the Varnashrama Dharma of the 4 social and 4 spiritual divisions. Prabhupada is talking about Varnashrama Dharma and saying Bhagavata Dharma means Varnashrama Dharma. Just 4 Varna and 4 Ashramas. And those who strictly follow the principles of Bhagavata Dharma, which means strictly follow the principles of Varnashrama Dharma, and living according to the instructions of the Supreme Lord, are called Aryans. And a civilization of Aryans. Aryans means who strictly follow the instructions of the Lord and never deviate from those instructions. Such people will come to Brahmabhuta. That's what this is. Brahmabhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati samasarveshu bhuteshu. It does not discriminate between trees, etc. etc. So what does it mean? That means if we actually strictly follow, now what is Prabhupada saying here? There's a clear logic that he's saying you have to follow Varnashrama Dharma, and along with that you have to follow Bhagavata Dharma, because the focus Bhagavata Dharma is Varnashrama Dharma. So we in our minds we've separated Bhakti and we've separated Varnashrama Dharma, right? But Prabhupada is saying they're both same. They're the same. The means to actually do Bhakti is Varnashrama Dharma, the platform. And then he's saying, one has to strictly follow the instructions and never deviate, and then he will make progress. He will come to Brahmabhuta. Now, Brahmabhuta I've already discussed, I think, last time I came. Brahmabhuta means basically we are not affected by anything material. Brahmabhuta Prasannatma. Na shochati na kankshati. Na shochati. No lamentation, na kankshati. No desiring anything. Brahmabhuta. Now, most of us in ISKCON, we are struggling to actually come to this Brahmabhuta stage. But the Brahmabhuta stage is just Madbhaktim Labhate Param. Krishna is saying then only you will get pure devotion. Why is that? Can anybody explain? Why Krishna is saying that only when you come to Brahmabhuta you will get pure devotion?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Na shochati na kankshati. That means that he will never be affected by any, changes in his body, because as long as he thinks that he is the body, he will have to have that Prabhuji problems, pain and all that.
Okay.
When he moves away from that.
Yeah. So basically, which means that we just don't care about anything material around us. We don't care. This word actually is used in Bhagavad Gita, without cares. But we are full of cares. We are full of care and concern about our body, about our family, about everything material. Which means that we are not come to Brahmabhuta. And if you don't come to Brahmabhuta, we are not going to get pure devotion, because in the earlier stage, we are always coming to Krishna asking for, Krishna, please protect me from this problem. Please take care of this material problem. Please do this. Please do that, which is Mishra Bhakti. And why are we praying for all those things? Because we are attached to these material things. We think that this is important. Okay. Now, one more thought process. What do we need to do to go to Goloka? What kind of bhakti should we practice? What is that bhakti called?
Prema Bhakti.
Anya Abhilashita
Bhakti.
Shoyam Jnana
Oh,
Karma.
okay. Okay. No. Okay. Let me only continue, because So it's called Raganuga Bhakti. Okay. The bhakti that we have to perform to go to Goloka is called Raganuga Bhakti. And what is the other bhakti which is going to take us to Vaikuntha? It's called Vaidhi Bhakti. Okay. Now, what is the difference between Raganuga Bhakti and Vaidhi Bhakti? In Raganuga Bhakti, devotees don't think about Krishna as the Supreme Lord. They don't think about Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Right? They just love Krishna because they love Krishna. That's it. No reason. There's nothing else. But on the Vaidhi platform, or like okay, you're the Swami, I am the Sevak, I'm the Dasa, I depend on you. So please take care of me. Please take care of my material problems, situations, etc. So if we have to go to Krishna, we should come to the platform of not even thinking about Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Which means that we don't go to him to ask to do business. When will you stop going to Krishna to do business? Is when we are actually firmly convinced that I have nothing to do this with material. I am spirit soul. So till we come to that platform, we will be bewildered, we will be puzzled, we will be confused, we are affected, we cry, we pray, we want things to improve in our material life. All this is simply because we are not trying to strictly follow the instructions of. If you strictly try to follow instructions of Prabhupada without dismissing it off as impractical, which unfortunately I hear a lot of devotees saying, it's not for us, Prabhuji, it's very, very high. Is it? Prabhupada books are very, very high, meaning for some very exalted devotees, Prabhupada has written these books. What do you think?
No, Prabhuji, for us only.
He is written for us. Actually, previous acharyas wrote for exalted devotees, where they directly talk about rasa. They don't talk about body, struggling, bewilderment, suffering, Brahmabhuta. They don't talk about all these things. It's a given. Our previous acharyas, that it was given, saying that anybody who's going to read this Bhagavatam, the Paramahamsa, meaning he's already he's anyway crossed material conditioned stage. But Prabhupada knows that in Kali Yuga, we are all so stuck up here. And he's giving us instructions which are going to pull us out. So unless we read Prabhupada's books. So what is the crux of this is that we read Prabhupada's books. We seriously contemplate on what Prabhupada is saying, and we try to apply those instructions in our life. What is the idea of these Bhagavatam classes? In general, is to help devotees understand the purpose and enable them to apply those instructions in their life. That is the reason why Prabhupada instituted Srimad Bhagavatam class. Because not everything we will be able to understand sometimes, not everything we'll be able to apply, but some others will be able to understand, some others would be able to apply. So when there's a gathering of devotees and this discussion goes on, then somebody will enlighten the others. So if we strictly follow what Prabhupada is saying, then we should be out of this contaminated mind, contaminated consciousness, bewilderment, everything. See statements like this, these things used to affect me a lot before. I mean, also they do, but I've now seen them multiple times. I know what it is, right? As part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, our living entity is supposed to think of Krishna. What does this mean? What is the relevance of this statement for us? When you read this statement, how should you understand it? I am a living entity, right? I am supposed to think of Krishna. But what are we thinking about? Ranjana here is thinking of a woman. So we have to understand, saying that, oh, so I'm not able to follow this. Then what should our problem be? Our problem is, okay, I need to now go and ask every devotee, saying, how can I do this? I have to read Srila Prabhupada's books. If I'm not able to still figure out, I have to go and ask, how should I think about Krishna? How am I supposed to think about Krishna? Such mental absorption, Prabhupada is answering, such mental absorption with some sense objects bring about the living entity struggle for existence in the material world. Why are people bewildered? Because of this mental absorption in material things. Since King Puranjana is thinking of his wife, his struggle for existence in the material world will not be ended by death. Devotees don't die. Isn't it? Devotees don't die. There's no death for a devotee. Why there's no death for a devotee? Because he's already spiritualized. Mind is spiritualized, his body is spiritualized, his consciousness is spiritualized. But still, just to to be in line with material laws, he gives up a so-called material body. But he doesn't die. Nobody dies, for that matter. But the devotee absolutely doesn't die the way others die. In the sense, he does not going to take another body. Well made. And what does this absorption do to us? This absorption is going to result in another birth. As revealed in the following verses, King Puranjana had to accept the body of a woman in his next life due to his being overly absorbed in the thoughts of his wife. Thus, mental absorption in social, political, pseudo-religious, national, communal consciousness is cause for bondage. Prabhupada is saying social, which means familial also, connected to family. During one lifetime, one has to change his activities in order to attain release from bondage. This is confirmed. If we do not change our consciousness in this life, whatever we do in the name of social, political, etc., will be cause for our bondage. Means we have to continue in material conditional life. And we have to be worried about this. We have to be worried about this. What will I think if I were to die? What is the thought that is going to come into my mind? Die, we all have to. But what is going to come to my mind? What will I think? Will I think about my children? Will I think about my job? Will I think about my spouse?
Krishna.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on what is important for us. And I keep doing these experiments on myself. So a few days back, I had a very hectic schedule, and like I had a I slept, and then in the middle of the night I had a cramp. I had a leg cramp. It's no. So normally, when, previously I used to, when there's a leg cramp, I try to get whatever, some move or something, and spray it on the cramped area, etc. And then there's pain, and so then this time suddenly, like few days back, then this thought came to my mind saying that suppose this were to be the last moment of my life, what will I go? What will I do? Run behind, move? Is that what my consciousness is going to be? Which means that I'm trying to protect myself. I'm trying to remain alive. What happened to my Krishna consciousness? I talked so many of these things in classes, and then I was thinking, see, if suppose I were to die now, I wouldn't have thought about Krishna. So while it is theoretically okay to say that I'm going to die, think about Krishna at the time of death, please understand there's going to be pain. There is going to be pain. So today, when we have pain, practice to think about Krishna. Don't run around trying to solve your material problems. Yesterday, we met one astrologer, very, very capable person. I recommend a lot of devotees who are in very deep trouble, who unfortunately don't have so much faith in Krishna that they're looking for some material solution. So I tell them, go to this astrologer, he will give you a way. And he was saying that, pretty much what we understand from Prabhupada's book, but he was saying that everything is predetermined. It's just going to happen as it is destined. So we don't have to break our head. We don't have to like helter-skelter, when there is some issue that we are facing. Life and death is going to be one such issue. So, and I realized saying that, yes, okay, there is pain. Then I was thinking, okay, there is pain. There's pain in this leg. Okay, let it be. Let there be pain. Very difficult. Very, very difficult. Simple leg cramp I'm talking about. No, not like some major thing. Simple leg cramp. So it's not easy. It's not easy. We have to be concerned. So then it concerned me. It worried me, saying that, okay, oh my God, not yet that Krishna. I need to be improved. I need to become more serious. I need to become more absorbed. I need more mercy. How do we get mercy? Especially in marathon month, we get mercy by simply becoming an instrument to distribute. And generally, I've seen people distribute Prabhupada. They say, please take Bhagavad Gita, everything will be good for you. But that's not what Prabhupada wrote in Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? We don't go and do some sentimental sale. That's not book distribution. And nowadays, people have come up with some crazy ideas, They get Shastradan and they say, okay, see, you go there, it'll be 350 rupees. Now I'm giving it for 250 rupees, take it. I mean, is this the way to distribute books? We want people to understand the importance of these books. So I was telling our devotee saying that, you strike an intelligent conversation with the person. Ask him, saying that, sir, are you happy in life? Aren't there so many, tensions and problems and issues? Are you aware of a solution for this? You know how to come out of this. And then I said, see, you take Prabhupada's books and show some part of Prabhupada's books where he's answered this question. Obviously, then the person will say, wow, okay, I never saw any book which was directly answering my problem. Oh, okay, this might be useful to me. Okay, let me take it. So for which we should have read and we should be convinced about what Srila Prabhupada has written in his books. And I see, unfortunately, this whole Varnashrama is so neglected in ISKCON. We think that bhakti is enough. But I was then asking devotees, saying that, yeah, bhakti is enough, provided you have time for bhakti. If you're staying in city and if you're working, where do you have time for Krishna? And that's the reason Prabhupada suggested, go to Vrindavan. What Vrindavan? Not Vrindavan in India. Go to a farm community, which is Vrindavan, which is what Krishna's land is. And peacefully live a life of Krishna consciousness. But Prabhu, it's not practical. And this is where we are stuck. Yes, maybe it's not practical, but what are we doing to make it practical? We're not thinking about it at all, Prabhu. Some leaders have to think about it. Me. But then Prabhupada is saying we're not going to make progress. Is that for us or for the leaders? So I encourage all devotee groups, come together, discuss Prabhupada's purport seriously, and in the community, find some solutions. Try to think of some solutions. And it's important, otherwise we will not be able to implement what Prabhupada is saying, and that will result in Guru Ravagya. Then we will not be able to make it. When the mind and senses are engaged in material activities, one has to continue its material existence and struggle to attain happiness. Isn't this what all of us want? In each and every life, one is engaged in the struggle to become happy. Actually, no one in this material world is happy. But the struggle gives a false sense of happiness. Such an amazing state. A person must work very hard, and when he attains the result of his hard work, he thinks himself happy. In the material world, people do not know what real happiness is. Sukham atyantikam yattat buddhigrahyam atindriyam. Real happiness must be appreciated by one's transcendental senses. Atindriyam. Atindriya. Beyond material senses. That is real happiness. And unless one is purified, the transcendental senses are not manifest. Therefore, to purify the senses, one must take consciousness and engage the senses in the service of the Lord, not engaging the senses in our service. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevan. We have to engage our senses in the service of the Lord. Then there will be real happiness and liberation. Bhagavad Gita. The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another as the air carries aromas. So if you pass over a filthy place, if the air passes over a filthy place, it will carry the stench of Abna. Similarly, King Puranjana now passes the air of his life over his wife, a woman. Therefore, he has to accept the body of a woman in his neck. At the end of the day, this is where our test is going to be. Andakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nastyat shayaha. What are we going to think? The answer to that question is, what am I thinking now in the middle of material problems? Am I thinking about Krishna? Am I thinking about the doctor who is going to give me a solution? Am I thinking about my son or daughter who will help me? Whom am I thinking about? Whom am I depending on? That's what this is all about. Katam nu darakadina darakir paparayana vartishante maigate bhinnanna vaivo dadhau. Purajana continued worrying. Isn't this what we do all the time? After I pass from this world, how will my sons and daughters who are now fully dependent on me live and continue their lives? Everybody thinks they're inevitable. That if I go, what will happen to others? Their position will be similar to that of passengers aboard a ship wrecked in the midst of ocean. Oh, if I go, how will they take care of life? How will they live? At the time of death, every living entity worries about what will happen to his wife and children. Similarly, politician worries about what will happen to his country or his political party. Unless one is fully Krishna conscious, he has to accept a material body according to the particular consciousness. Since Puranjana is thinking of his wife and children and is overly engrossed in thoughts of his wife, he will accept the body of a woman. Similarly, a politician who is inordinately attached to the land of his birth will certainly be reborn in the same land after ending his politics. One's next life will be affected by the acts one performs during this life. Sometimes politicians act most sinfully for their own sense of gratification. Not unusual for a politician to kill the opposing party. Even the politician may be allowed to take birth in his so-called homeland, he still has to undergo suffering in his life. This science of transmigration is completely unknown to modern scientists. So-called scientists do not like to bother with these things because if they would at all consider this subtle subject matter and the problems of life, they would see that their future is very dark. Thus, they try to avoid considering the future and continue committing all kinds of sinful activity in the name of social, political, national necessity. We need to really wake up. We need to wake up people, tell them saying that, see, you are living sinfully or you are suffering, and the reason for you suffering is because you lived sinfully in the past. If you continue to live sinfully now, we are going to suffer in the future. Are you happy with suffering that you're going through? The answer is no. Then live responsibly. And responsibility means knowing what is right, what is wrong. Krishna says the demoniac people of demoniac nature, they don't know what is right, what is wrong. So we have to know as devotees and we have to teach others. So I was recommending to our devotees saying that, you all of you go and meet so many people outside, relatives, friends, colleagues, etc. Please carry some Prabhupada's books, all books. Just give them as a gift. Tell somebody, give them an understanding of a real problem that they are facing and tell them saying that this book has a solution. Please take it. It's okay if it doesn't pay 30 rupees, 40 rupees, 50 rupees, whatever it is. Let it change one person's life. This is for people whom you know and care for. Because they have to understand that, we have to stop the sinful life. But who's telling them? Nobody's telling them. It's our job to tell them. Evam kripanaya buddhya shochantam matadarhanam grahitum krita dhir enam bhayanamabhya padyata. Although King Puranjana should not have lamented over the fate of his wife, devotee should not lament. He nonetheless did so due to his miserly intelligence. Kripana, what is that you say here? Kripanaya buddhya. In the meantime, Yavana Raja, whose name was Fear itself, immediately drew near to arrest. This is what happened. Fear engulfs us. When we are about to lose something, fear engulfs us, become panic-stricken. And then we lose our intelligence. We become kripana. We forget our material position, our spiritual position. We think that we are material. And we just lose it. Foolish people do not know that every individual soul is responsible for his own actions and reactions. As long as the living entity in the form of a child or innocent, it is the duty of the father and mother to lead him to a proper understanding of the values of life. Doing this as parents, what are the proper values of life? If that doesn't include bhakti, then we are not teaching anything real to our children. When a child is grown, it should be left up to him to execute the duties of life properly, but we should give the required guidance. The parent after his death cannot help his child. A father may leave some estate for his children's immediate help, but he should not be overly absorbed in thoughts of how his family will survive after his death. He may leave. It's not that it's as he leaves it, okay, that's fine. But he should not worry about what is going to happen after his the disease of the conditioned soul. Not only does he commit sinful activities for his own sense gratification, but he accumulates great wealth to leave behind so that his children may gorgeously look at this castic, gorgeously arranged for sense gratification. In any case, everyone is afraid of death, and therefore death is called bhaya. Although King Puranjana was engaged in thinking of his wife and children, death did not wait for him. Death does not wait for any man. It will immediately carry out its duty. Death is sure as God. Since death must take away the living entity without hesitation, it is the ultimate God realization of the atheists who spoil their lives thinking of country, society, and relatives to the neglect of God. In this verse, the word atad arhanam is very significant, for it means that one should not be overly engaged in welfare activities for one's family members, not society alone. That's also there. But one should not be overly engaged in welfare of family. Overly engaged. Should be engaged because that's our responsibility. And that welfare is Krishna consciousness. Nothing else. None of these will help a person to advance spiritually. Unfortunately, in present day society, so-called educated men have no idea what spiritual progress is. Although they have the opportunity in the human form of life to make spiritual progress, they remain misers, kripana. They use their lives improperly and them thinking about material welfare of their relatives, countrymen, society, and so on. Devotees cannot live a life like this. Devotees can also just not be thinking about material welfare of family, this, that. Think about spiritual welfare. One's actual duty is to learn how to conquer death. Krishna states the process. Janma karma chame divyam. Evam yo veti tattvataha tyakva deham punarjanmanaiti mame. But we have to understand that Krishna's janma and karma are divyam, and we have to understand it tattvataha. For understanding it tattvataha, we have to hear from read Srimad Bhagavatam. Read Srimad Bhagavatam. You need to have time in life. So Bhagavatam says that dharma svanushtita pumsan vishvaksena katasuyaha notpadayed yadiratim shamaye vahi kevalam. If our occupation or whatever we are doing in material life, if it doesn't ignite our attraction to the message of Krishna or about Krishna, it's simply a waste of. After giving up this body, one who is fully Krishna conscious does not accept another material body, returns home back to God. Everyone should try to attain this perfection. Fortunately, instead of doing so, people are absorbed in thoughts of society, friendship, love, and relatives. This Krishna consciousness movement, however, is educating people throughout the world and informing them how to conquer. Harim Vina Namritim Taram. One cannot conquer it. So we have to take shelter. What is the meaning of taking shelter? What is the meaning of taking shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Anybody?
Prabhuji, doing accordingly to the instructions of the Guru, Sadhu, and Shastras.
Tell me one thing, sharp, taking shelter, which can solve all our problems.
Chanting the holy names.
Surrender.
Bowing
No,
down in front of the Lord
Chant.
and asking, Prabhuji.
No, one thing we have to do. One thing we have
Following
to
the
do.
instruction.
Chanting,
Following the
Prabhuji,
instruction.
chanting.
Have
Following
faith
the
in
instructions.
Krishna. Have faith in Krishna. Otherwise, we can't take shelter, right? We have to have faith in. Isn't it? Isn't that the root cause?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Asha Bandha.
If we don't take shelter of Krishna, we will take shelter of our own abilities. We will take shelter of kith and kin. We'll take shelter of our doctor. We'll take shelter of everything else which cannot give shelter. The only person who can give shelter is Krishna. But for that, we have to have faith. Somebody was asking me, saying that, how can we? So I was talking to somebody who has enough money in his life, can take care of his life and then maybe few generations also. Yet he has enough money. Okay. Then I told him, saying that, Prabhu, why are you simply wasting your time working? Do you really need the money? He said, no, Prabhu, I don't need the money. So then I asked him, saying that, then why don't you just use your time full time for Krishna service? He was worried about the future. So worry about the future when rationally you're seeing that your situation is pretty sorted. Even if it were not, if it is already sorted, then you have to just simply trust it and go on. So Prabhupada writes, advancement, please remember this. I keep repeating the same statements again and again because these are foundational for us. Advancement in Krishna consciousness means increasing our faith. And Prabhupada on the attitude. Okay. So with these few discussion, so if anybody wants to add something, ask some question. Now we covered 20 to 22. For 28, 20 to 22. That's what we covered. Anything,
Yeah, devotees, anybody has any question, reflections, or sharings, please raise your hands.
Today we are letting all of you to go early. Yeah, otherwise it's like 11 o'clock every class. So we are ready to go early. Yeah.
Routine of basics of Krishna consciousness, Prabhuji.
Sorry?
Routine of basics of Krishna consciousness. How
Sorry,
one can make a schedule to always remember Krishna, not to forget in a day.
Okay, very nice. Okay, how can one make a schedule? How can one make a schedule? So it depends on the life situation of the individual. So if somebody is working, it's different. Somebody is at home, it's different. Somebody is aged, it's different. And all of us, all of our lives are different, right? So the common advice given to everybody is to have a strict morning program. Morning program is the most valuable. Okay, so which means that we need to get up early in the morning. We need to chant Hare Krishna. And if we can attend Mangalarti, then it's good. Then we chant Hare Krishna. Then we at least read 1 hour of Srila Prabhupada's. Then get on with our whatever. And work is for whom? Is, like I was saying, is for those who are in Grihastha ashram, who have not fulfilled their responsibilities. What are those responsibilities? Getting our children married. That's it. That's the end of Grihastha responsibility. After that, then 16 hours have to be used in Krishna service. Till then, you're busy with work, etc. So then you have a very strong morning program. Then do your work only as much as is required. And the rest of the time should be used in Krishna service, in reading about Krishna, in chanting, in distributing books, etc., etc. Right? So this is the general guideline. But it all depends on each and every individual's life situation. And generally, it's advisable that you go and talk to your mentor or whoever is guiding you in your spiritual life. Because I won't be able to give any specific inputs because I don't know any of you. Okay. Yeah, Sunila Mataji. Okay, sorry, Sri Radha Devi Dasi. Is that Sunila?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, that's fine, Prabhu.
Sunila, Prabhuji. Sunila Sri
No.
Radha Devi.
So that's the whole initiated name?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Oh, what does Sunila mean? Is it Sunila or Sunila?
Dark blue.
Sunila.
Dark blue. Dark blue.
And it should be Sunila.
Sunila, yeah.
Sunila. Okay.
Sunila.
Okay, yes, Mataji.
Sunila.
Yeah, Sunila.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, you said devotional service and bhakti is nothing but Varnashrama dharma.
Yeah.
And yeah, but in Chaitanya, this thing, Teachings of Chaitanya, in that book, Prabhuji, I read that Chaitanya Prabhu and Ramananda Rai's conversation. Prabhu asks, what is the ultimate goal of human life? And then Ramananda Rai gives so many things and Prabhu rejects everything. Like, firstly he quotes that Varnashrama Dharma, about Varnashrama Dharma. And then Prabhu rejects that. And then again he quotes about renouncing the fruitive activities. And then Yat Karoshi Yadashnasi and then Sarva Dharman, everything Prabhu rejects. And finally, Ananyabhilashita Shunyam, he comes to that point. And he quotes shloka from Bhagavatam also. So why is that, Prabhuji? Is Varnashrama Dharma Kaitava Dharma, Prabhuji?
No.
No,
Kaitava.
like it is not Kaitava. I mean to say, is it Paro Dharma? Like, because we say, no, Savai Pumsa Paro Dharma. But
yeah.
does it come under Varnashrama? Does it come under Paro Dharma?
Yeah, okay. Good question. See, actually, we should understand this conversation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This conversation started on Varnashrama, meaning if you are not in Varnashrama, we don't even enter into this conversation. Okay, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, no, Varnashrama is also not good enough. No, aage bolo, talk further. And finally, it comes down to pure devotion. Okay, but we have to understand that we can't get to pure devotion without Varnashrama, because Varnashrama was the platform on which this whole conversation was started. See, Vedic life cannot exist without Varnashrama Dharma. It's Vedic life. Now, see, what is our challenge? Our challenge is we are in this miserable material world in Kali Yuga. So we have contamination all around us, which is the result of non-Varnashrama Dharma or Asuri Dharma around us, right? Including the work we are doing. It's called Ugra Karma. Most of the work done in Kali Yuga is Ugra Karma. So which means on one end, we are doing chanting Hare Krishna. We are reading, we are trying to do bhakti, which is how much time do we spend, especially those people who are working, how many hours do we spend in a day for bhakti? 4 hours, 3 hours, right? And how much time are we engaging with non-Aryan society? Rest of the time, at least 7-8 hours. So we can understand the influence this non-Aryan civilization is having on our progress. It's slowing us down, simply to put. we can move at a much faster. We can make sure that we can perfect our life in this lifetime itself. His Holiness Shivram Maharaj writes in one of his books, Chintamani, Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani. So he says that we are all just few steps away from Goloka. But those few steps, also covering those few steps, climbing those few steps, could end up us taking multiple lifetimes. Or it can be done instantly. Baladev Vidyabhushan calls this class of devotees as Nirapeksha. Nirapeksha. He's ready to go back to Godhead now. Not after 2 years. He's ready to go back now. So it is required. It will form. See, Varnashrama Acharvatya Purushena Parapuman Vishnu Aradhyate. The whole idea of Varnashrama is Vishnu Aradhana. There is nothing else in Varnashrama. So, seen that way, it is Paradharma. It sets the foundation for Paradharma. And enables, encourages people to actually follow Paradharma, which is Bhakti. Yeah. So that way it is. But when we look at it as caste system, then it is not. But Krishna has given this Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. So 2 things are very important from this Varnashrama. Just, so many things are important. 2 things. One is the kind of vritti we engage in, the kind of occupation we engage in. Is it for us or not for us? This is the first question we have to answer from Varnashrama. The second is, that is from the Varna side. From the Ashrama side, we have to make sure that we stick to Grihastha and transition into Vanaprastha. We simply can follow these 2 things, good enough. At least we will protect ourselves from the contamination of this material to some extent. But ideal is, Krishna's Vrindavan community. That's ideal. But yeah, maybe not. Maybe not possible. Is that okay, Sunila Mataji?
Not fully satisfied, Prabhuji, because I'm not able to understand. See, because I have heard from somebody that says that Varnashrama Dharma is not Paro Dharma because it doesn't lead to the supreme occupation that is.
Why? Who's saying? Who's saying that? No, but who is saying? No, Bhagavatam is not saying that.
Okay.
Bhagavatam is not saying that. See, the whole, otherwise, why would Prabhupada emphasize so much on Varnashrama Dharma? Varnashrama Dharma leads to devotion only. There is a verse in Bhagavatam, right? Padma Purana states.
Yeah, all activities which we perform in Varnashrama Dharma, it is materially motivated.
Not necessarily. Who's saying this? Okay, so somebody is given not a very accurate understanding of Varnashrama Dharma. So please read Prabhupada's books. Which is why I keep saying that unless we have read Prabhupada's books, we will possibly accept anything that is being spoken as correct. If it were true, you can use a very simple logic. Has Prabhupada anywhere in his books encouraged material life?
No.
No. Simple answer. If it were so, if Varnashrama Dharma was material life, why would you have spoken about it? So yeah, please read Prabhupada's books. You can go to vedabase.io, search for Varnashrama, and go through all the hits that you get. You will get a good understanding of what speaking on this topic.
Okay.
Because it's a very big topic, so I can take us a lot of time to convince clearly. Yeah. Shobita Mataji. Shobita Krishna Kanta. Okay, very nice. So, yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Pranam Mataji.
Prabhuji, you said that we should practice remembering Krishna in times of pains and miseries in our life. So it does happen after coming into devotional service. It does happen that we remember him, but again the mood is help me to come out of the particular problem. So what should be our correct mood at that time when we are remembering?
Okay. Very nice. So it depends on how critical the problem is. Okay. So for some small problems, don't call Krishna. First thing we should practice. Small problems, like I have a headache, don't call Krishna. I have some manageable problem, don't call Krishna for that. Something is very serious, we can call Krishna. And when we call Krishna, what we pray for is, if you so desire, you can pull me out of this so that I can engage in your service. That's all. If you so desire, you can pull me out of this so that I can continue to engage in service. This should be our prayer.
Prabhuji, when you're saying that don't call Krishna, what does it mean? Like
Why should we trouble Krishna? Why are we troubling Krishna with our small things? See, please understand, Krishna is happy with his dear devotees in Vrindavan. And we are here for small petty things. It's like this. If children, keep coming to us for small things, go figure it out. Try to deal with it. Isn't it? See, our idea of dealing with our material problems ourselves is not to bother Krishna and develop this kind of renunciation towards our material problems. And use knowledge there, saying that, okay, this problem has come because I've done something nasty. Or maybe Krishna wants it this way. So let me accept it. Okay, I'll think what I need to do. I will do. I will not get too bothered about it. I will continue to engage in my apratihata devotional service.
Okay. Yeah, Prabhuji.
Right? See, one thing we all have to learn is to stop calling Krishna when we're in trouble. Why? Why we should stop calling? Because Krishna anyway knows that we are in trouble. Why should we call him? He will take care of us. Have the faith that he will take care of us. So don't have to call him. And in that pain also you tell Krishna, I want to do devotional service. This stupid problem is preventing me. And you can give me mercy. Don't tell him saying that, Krishna, I have this problem. You please take this problem away so that I can do your devotional service. No. Then we are not Krishna conscious, we are problem conscious. We should tell Krishna, saying that, Krishna, it's okay, I have a problem, okay, I deserve it. But let me not be prevented from doing devotion. Let this problem not prevent me from doing devotion.
Yeah.
Of course, see, every time I tell these things, this is where we have to get to. Okay, some devotees get very, very, very much affected by this, and they say, "Prabhu, it's too strong. We can't deal with it." I'm not even saying I'm at that stage, right? But I'm saying this is where we need to get to. Today we might be at a stage where we want to call out Krishna for every small thing. Okay, it's fine. It's better than calling out, Monday one demigod, Tuesday one demigod, etc. Right? Call out Krishna all the time. Okay, fine. Good. But we cannot just remain there. See, a pure devotee doesn't care for his body. Many of you are disciples of His Holiness Padaka Maharaj. And you see Maharaj praying for himself. It's another thing that there is not such well-crafted communication that is coming out from various groups, devotees, etc., which I'm very unhappy about, which seems to portray like Maharaj is asking us to pray for his health. No, he's not asking us to pray for his health. He's asking us to help him fulfill his Guru's dream. This is what he's asking. We're not doing that. And we are praying, saying that, okay, please make me Guru Maharaj healthy. He doesn't want to be healthy. Yeah, he says, okay, if Krishna wants, okay, make me healthy. But what am I living for? Why am I extended my life in this miserable material world? To inspire others, to guide others, and more importantly, to fulfill the order of my spiritual master. Every day, those who are disciples, you should, when you're chanting his pranam mantra, remember his mood. It's there already. It's there, it's there in his heart. And if you ardently pray for it, you will get that mood. You will get a drop of that. And then you'll stop bothering. He's showing us what Shastra I speak. Great inspiration. I'm not his disciple, but I'm hugely inspired. Every time I go through a material problem, I just think about him and how he's been doing bhakti first. And I know he's not experiencing any pain. The only pain he's experiencing is the lack of Krishna consciousness in his, in people, in the world around us. That's the only pain he's he's going through. Which is why whether he's in a hospital, whether he's somewhere, whether it's nurse, doctor, he just says, chant Hare Krishna. We need to learn. Otherwise, what is the point? Why are these gurus around here for, till whenever they are here? Guide us, teach us how we need to live. And then when we talk about these things, we say, no, Prabhu, but he's such an exalted Vaishnava. Yeah, he's an exalted Vaishnava, but he's showing us how to become exalted. If you want to go back to Krishna, we have to become also exalted. We cannot become like him, but we can become exalted in our own way. Okay?
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Got it today.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Dhanyavad Pranams.
Yeah. Mangala Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, what is that second shloka that Kaitava Dharma referring to, Prabhuji, in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto?
Cheating religion, which is not taking us to Krishna, which is talking about Dharma, Artha, Kama.
Kama Moksha.
Yeah, Moksha, they don't talk about at all. They just talk. Kaitava Dharma is about Dharma, Artha, Kama. That's all.
Hare Krishna. Okay, Prabhuji, thanks.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Then with Pranam, Prabhu, wonderful explanation for all our answers, Prabhu. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I have a very basic question. When we say that we need to understand, when we read Srila Prabhupada's purpose, we need to understand his mood. Now, for me as personal level, I am not always able to understand Srila Prabhupada's mood, Prabhu. How do I do that?
Yeah. So Prabhupada's mood is very, very explicit in his words. It's not something hidden. Okay. Now, what it means to understand Prabhupada's mood is actually to consistently assimilate that mood. It's about imbibing that mood. It's consistent. And you see, what is the mood of Prabhupada? Pure devotion. Right? Giving compassion to everybody. This is his mood. Like this, there are multiple themes on which Prabhupada writes his purports. What we need to do is we need to imbibe this mood. It needs to become a part of our thought process, part of our existence. But absorbing the mood is a much simpler problem, where we possibly get stuck, or where what is the reason why we are not able to imbibe that mood? It's because we are reading the purports not with an intention of actually accepting everything. We are reading purports with an excuse why I can just forget about this instruction. Now, when we read like that, then we are missing, because those instructions are filling, those gaps in our understanding of Prabhupada's mood. So, if you give up some part of the purport as saying, I didn't understand, that means there's a hole in your understanding of Prabhupada's mood. This is why we have to just see Prabhupada's purports are the simplest, right? But we need to get into, so we should start reading Prabhupada's books with the background saying that Prabhupada is giving us pure devotion, nothing else. And read everything from that viewpoint, then it's relatively much easier. And then when we are not able to understand something philosophically, please ask other devotees who might have a better understanding and get a clear understanding. Okay, and if you are not satisfied, like Sunila Mataji was not satisfied with my answer, which is perfectly fine. Go back and read Srila Prabhupada's books, right? And that's the only way we can be sure that I have not misunderstood something.
Can you repeat the last sentence, Prabhu, what you said? I didn't follow it.
See, when we're reading Srila Prabhupada's books, right? Sometimes we don't understand something, right? Then we take the two other devotees who are possibly more well-read, more well-read, I would say, who are more advanced than us, whom we see as being ahead of us in devotion, and we look forward to getting there, right? And it also has to be based on Shastra, saying that this is the next stage of advancement. We go to such people and ask them to help us understand. And if we are not able to understand, then we come back to read Srila Prabhupada's books to make sure that we understand it. And again, this is a continuous process. Sometimes what happens is some of these concepts have taken me years to understand. Because some devotee told me same thing that Prabhupada is written, but I was not in a state of mind to accept it. I didn't understand it because I had a mind block. So then it takes time. So for which as we are chanting every day, we become more and more purified. We become more receptive to Prabhupada's statements, and slowly it goes in. It might take some time.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Done with pranam. Can we end the class with prayers, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Thank you,
jai.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I'll
Thank you,
end the class,
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna
Hare
to all
Krishna.
devotees.
Hare
Pranam,
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare